Hi, I'm Kathy Riggins, Assistant Superintendent of Vilonia School District. It's a pleasure to have you join us this evening as we give you some information about the upcoming year with the Vilonia Virtual Academy. We have some people helping us here tonight. We have Steve Austin, our board member, running the Eagle Vision so that we can broadcast this to you. We appreciate that. We have Ronnie Simmons, Susan Lloyd, Christy Newell, and Dr. David Stevens are collecting comments and questions. We have Megan Johnson, who's here with us tonight to give you some information, and I have Dr. Debbie Knowles, who is going to be the administrator for the virtual school, and she'll be sharing some information tonight with you about the Virtual Academy. So please remember, if you have questions that you would like addressed at the end of the session, just to type those in the comment box, and we're going to try to do our very best to answer those questions. So thanks again for joining us this evening. Dr. Knowles.
Okay. So first of all, I just want to give you some general information about the Virtual Academy. To begin with, we want everyone to know that the Virtual Academy is going to follow the very same schedule, the same calendar that the school on-site is going to follow. However, we do expect students enrolled in the Virtual Academy to complete 9 weeks of instruction. That's because we need to have teachers and resources in place. One thing too to note is that Virtual Academy and on-site teachers are going to be following the same pacing guides. On-site and virtual students are going to be expected to master the same essential standards. And because of that, if students choose to come back to on-site instruction after the 9 weeks, it's going to be a very seamless transition. Another thing we'd like for everyone to know is that on Friday, we are going to have a link on the Vilonia School District site to the Vilonia Virtual Academy. And when you click on that link on Friday, we are going to have a virtual open house. And the students are going to be able to meet their teachers. The entire faculty is going to be listed on that site, also a very short introductory video.
If you requested a Chromebook upon registration, the staff will be contacting you this week to pick those devices up. The pickup times will be Monday 4 to 7, Tuesday 9 to 7, and Wednesday 9 a.m. to 7. So actually that will be on Monday that the teachers will be contacting your student and you can make a request for picking up those devices. At that time, the students in K3 will also be able to pick up their school supplies. And usernames and passwords to access the Buzz platform will be mailed out tomorrow. The Buzz platform is a state-funded learning management system. All the curriculum will be housed in this system. Students and parents will be able to communicate with their teachers. There will be a two-way, easy communication process through this system. Grades and progress reports can be monitored there, and there will also be their instructional practices will be available for those students through the Buzz system. All of the courses that students will take will be listed there on the platform. Training videos for this system will be available to all parents and students.
Okay, let's talk a few minutes about the curriculum. First of all, the online coursework for K-8 is going to be provided through Lincoln Learning. This has been provided by the state. A teacher from the Vilonia district will be assigned to provide explicit instruction either in a Google Meet or in a Zoom meeting. Teachers are also going to be providing feedback and additional assistance as needed. These teachers will be grading assignments and ensuring that the students are successfully navigating the lessons provided. Courses in 9-12 will utilize the Lincoln Learning curriculum as well. Certified teachers from the Vilonia School District will facilitate these courses, offer instruction, guidance, and monitor mastery of skills. In order to ensure that student course selections can be offered, some courses will be provided through state-approved online digital service providers. Teachers from Lincoln Learning or Virtual Arkansas may be contracted to facilitate these courses. If this occurs, a Vilonia teacher will be assigned in an advisory role in order to support these students. Assistance in coursework will be provided when necessary. Now I'm going to turn it over to Megan Johnson for just a few minutes. She is a high school business teacher, Perkins coordinator, and she's going to explain a little bit more about the CTE courses that we're going to be providing.
Hi, we are so excited to be able to offer our CTE classes, Career and Technical Education courses, through the Buzz Learning System for our distance learning or virtual students. Through this system, we get to use ICEV. It is a curriculum that allows our teachers to have the same curriculum in the classroom as they would have in the virtual atmosphere. So we get to use this for student content. We get to use this to go towards certifications because that is our ultimate goal. We want our Vilonia students to be able to continue their coursework, to be a completer in our vocational and our CTE courses. And so we're very excited to offer that to everyone through Buzz.
Okay, we also want to talk with you for a moment just to assure you that if your child has an IEP or a 504 plan, that they will be served through the virtual school. These students will be served through their IEP committees or a 504 committee. We will create an individualized plan for them. Any student that has dyslexia services will also be served. These students may receive their services virtually, or if you choose to receive them on site, you can contact us and make a request for that, and we're happy to work out that opportunity as well. Our GT students will also be provided virtual instruction, and they also have the option to join us on site for the GT courses that are offered at their grade levels if they choose to do so. So the virtual school will serve all students and meet the needs of all sub-pop groups. So the question is, what about the length of the school day? The length of the day will vary. It will be flexible. The virtual learning is based on a self-paced process. It will vary by grade level. The older the student is, probably the more self-paced they will be. The younger they are, it may be more directed. There will be times if a student's receiving SPED, dyslexia services, this time will be scheduled, and there will be an opportunity for a Zoom session where students will be virtual, that they will be in face-to-face instruction with their specialist that's working with them. Also, if a student needs assistance, there may be times when the teacher schedules interventions or tutorial sessions based on need. It will be very important during this time that parents will try to make sure that students are able to access this information at that time. If a student is needing assistance, we want to provide that, but they have to be online with their teacher. And if there's an issue with the technology and they can't be there, just let us know. We're going to try to make arrangements to make sure that your student gets their needs met. Students should be online no more than 4 hours per day. Virtual learning will not mimic the full instructional class period. It will be different activities, but the learning should be occurring in a different format, and so all the standards, all the essential standards will need to be mastered, but the delivery will be different. So the length of the school day will vary, and the flexibility will be there for parents and families. So we want to work with you and make sure that your students are able to be successful.
Another thing that we want you to know about our virtual academy is students will be allowed to take some tests at home with parent supervision. However, due to state requirements, each parent must be trained and complete a certification form before students are allowed to test at home. Over the next week, the district's testing coordinator, Trina Mitchell, will be uploading a folder to Buzz that includes both a video that must be viewed and a certification form that must be complete. If the training is not completed and certified, testing must occur on site. Also, there are some tests that students must come on site to take. These are the state mandated tests. Examples are The ACT for 11th graders must be taken on site. ACT Aspire summative tests for grades 3 through 10 must be taken on site. K2 Renaissance test and the ELPA 21 test for K12. All of those tests must be taken on site. Now, what are your students going to be doing next week? Well, next week is going to be our orientation week, much like it is on site. Teachers are going to be contacting students. They're going to be helping them become proficient with the BUZZ system. They're going to be teaching them about digital citizenship. At the upper levels in grades 9 through 12, we're going to be assisting students with their schedules. We're also during this time going to be developing relationship with the teachers and the other students. We're going to help our students acclimate themselves to a virtual learning environment. And last but not least, our students are going to have their first look at our curriculum, Lincoln Learning.
So in review, the question may be, so when will I get my login information so that I can access the BUZZ Learning Management System? Again, your username and password will be mailed to you tomorrow. We should submit those, so in the next couple of days you should get those in the mail. There is an email address that has been created. It is Vilonia Virtual Academy at viloniaschools.org. So if you're thinking, well, I have some questions that comes up after tonight's session, you can submit those questions to Vilonia Virtual Academy at viloniaschools.org. And then next week during the orientation, we'll start Monday trying to answer those questions for you. So we know there are going to be things that are going to come up and you're going to want to ask some questions. This will give you an opportunity to make contact with us, and we will try to do our very best to answer those questions for you. So I think that's our presentation about the Virtual Academy, but now we want to hear from you and answer questions. Dr. Stevens.
Okay, first of all, we have a few questions regarding notifying us if they need a Chromebook. Some said that they weren't asked that question, so can you go over again if a parent does not have technology, how they go about taking care of that?
Okay, so if you do not have technology and you did not notify us when you signed up for the Virtual Academy, or when someone contacted you, just send this to this email address. Just send an email to Vilonia Virtual Academy, list your student's name, your name, the grade level, and ask for a device.
Okay. Would you also, Dr. Knowles, would you repeat the state mandated tests that have to be taken on site?
Okay, the state mandated tests that have to be taken on site. First of all, it is the ACT test for 11th graders will have to be done on site. The ACT Aspire for grades 3 through 10, the summative test must also be on site. K2 Renaissance must be taken on site. And the last test is the ELPA for K through 12. All of those tests must be taken on site, and that is a state mandate. That's not just the Vilonia School District requiring that, that's required by the state.
Okay. A couple of questions regarding schedules. When do schedules come out? How will they know their student's schedule?
Well, students in the spring already signed up for their classes, and so we're going to be contacting students next week to make sure those are the correct classes like I said earlier, and we've got teachers assigned to teach those classes right now, but we will be contacting them again to make sure those are the classes that they want to take.
Okay, and that answers the next question, which was how do they change their schedule? So that would be the opportunity.
Absolutely. When we contact them next week, they can change their schedule at that time.
Okay, and also, Dr. Riggins, would you address again how we will be providing instruction for students with IEPs?
Okay, for students with IEPs, if a student is a co-taught student, they will be accessing the regular Lincoln Learning curriculum just as they would be if they were on site. They would be accessing the regular grade level curriculum. They will also be provided extensive support through that process with a special education teacher. So a certified teacher, they'll be receiving instruction from a general ed teacher as well as a certified teacher, and that would be the co-taught setting in the virtual setting. So we still want them to get the grade level curriculum with the support of a special education teacher. If a student happened to be in a resource classroom, then that will be scheduled next week, and the resource classroom would occur virtually online, face-to-face, or if a parent would like for the student to come to school and receive that specialized course, they have the option to do that.
Okay. Will incoming third grade students be able to be evaluated for GT placement, and if so, when will that take place?
Yes, they will. They will follow the same schedule. It's generally a month or so into school that they start testing for GT, and so if you are interested in that, send that information to this email address at ViloniaVirtualAcademy@ViloniaSchools.org, and we'll get that information and contact you.
Okay. If a parent or a student is not able to pick up their device until Monday night, what will they do on Monday morning?
Okay, we are going to make sure that students have an opportunity during those first few days. We recognize that someone will not pick their device up until Monday evening because we've got to contact people, and there has to be some structure to that. So we're just going to use this week as virtual orientation. So don't worry about Monday. There will be time for you to watch the videos and have plenty of time. We're going to give a couple of days there.
Okay. When can school supplies be picked up for virtual students?
School supplies can be picked up on Monday starting at 4 o'clock.
All right. If a student has an Aggregate Class, how will that work through virtual?
Okay. The students will be working through the system that Mrs. Johnston just explained earlier, so they can do that virtually. They'll still be working with their Aggregate teacher, and they will be working online through.
On campus for band only, how will they check in? Will they need a name badge and a lanyard and check into the office?
They'll just need their name badge and a lanyard, and they'll be able to check into their course, and then they'll leave from their course.
Okay. A couple of questions, just asking to reiterate where they will find the training videos for the Buzz Learning platform, where is the link located?
Okay, I'm going to go back to that check-in process real quick,
Okay.
just to make sure that I'm clear. So if a student comes in, they will not go to the office and check in. They will check in with their teacher. So if Mr. Nichols, the band director, would take attendance with them at that time. So instead of going to the office, checking in, and then going all the way to band, we're asking the students, since there will be a flow of in and out, they will check in with that teacher.
Okay.
That will be the accountability. I'm sorry, and your question was?
Where can parents find the training videos for Buzz, and where is the Buzz link located?
Okay, so that will probably be arriving on Thursday or Friday, and then you'll be able to log into the Buzz Learning Management System, and in that Learning Management System there will be a tutorial for you to watch the video concerning the Buzz Management System on the student side, and then we will be giving you some additional information starting Monday.
And we hope to post some of that on Friday. We should have our Vilonia Virtual Academy link working so that you can also go there. We're going to put some links up to access the videos there as well.
Okay. Will virtual students be allowed to participate in our school lunch program, and if so, how will they receive their lunches?
Yes. I'm glad you asked that, because that's a slide that I thought about, we left out, and I'm glad that question came in. Students will be able to participate in the school lunch program. Students would need to order ahead of time and pay ahead of time, and then they can come and pick it up. We'll have 2 campus locations. Frank Mitchell will probably be one campus location, and the other location would be Vilonia Middle School. And so that would be, if a student qualified for free and reduced lunches, then they also will be able to do that. If they are not able to come daily, then the student may pick up a quick, convenient box that would be a weekly meal box. So a student is eligible for a meal box from the cafeteria, or they can come daily and pick up their meal daily.
Okay. Another question, and I know that this is new to our district as well. Students, will students be required to take electives if they don't need them to graduate?
No, they will not be required to take electives. If they're seniors, they're not required.
And then the other question, and I actually just asked Mr. Simmons this about how do virtual kids get name badge and lanyard, and he said they would just need to stop by the high school and check with the counselor's office and then get them there.
Okay.
So that's for students who have to come on campus for 1 or more classes. They can pick up their name badge in the counselor's office at the high school.
Good.
How will students receive services such as OT, PT, and speech services?
Those students will receive their services the same as they did in the spring. I believe OT and speech will receive them through a virtual face-to-face setting, and Mr. Josh Hart will be organizing that, our special education director. And if your child receives those services, they'll be contacting you to set up a schedule for that.
Okay. Will seniors be put into classes to get their required credits? How will we know which classes they still need to graduate or earn cords?
Yes, they will be put in required classes, and that's one reason that we're going to take this week of orientation, to make sure that there is someone that consults with each student to make sure that when you filled out your request in the spring, we tried to fill those requests, but we want to make sure that we sit down with every student and go back over their schedule and make sure there's no confusion about what needs to be taken and what they would be eligible for.
Okay. Will the school still be sending home weekend snack backpacks for those that qualify?
I would assume so, yes. If they qualify, they can still participate in that program.
Okay. Do the Chromebooks have their own Wi-Fi access?
No, they do not. Chromebooks do not have Wi-Fi access at this time. There are some local vendors that I think are offering some special packages for students that are learning virtually, and it may have limited data, but I think it's I'm hearing that it may be sufficient for just class work. It wouldn't be all the time. So another thing is, if you are wanting a backpack, I'm going to just restate, please be sure and send this information into the Vilonia Virtual Academy website or the email address, and that will help us because this is new to us too, and there's a lot to keep up with, and so we don't want to miss a student. And if you need to receive a backpack, if you'll send us that email, it'll help us to double check and make sure that we get the students that need to be served.
Okay. And these two questions I think are related. First, will there be scheduled times for students that need to be online? And how will attendance be calculated for virtual students?
Each teacher is going to be contacting the parents and students, and those teachers are going to be creating the schedules for their class. There may be times when a teacher requests your student to be online if that student needs some additional help. So there's no one set schedule that we have, but each teacher is going to be very flexible, and they're going to be setting schedules if they need to with parents.
And if they have a special service that is required every day of the week or 3 times a week, dyslexia services, that would be set at a certain time, 3 times a week, and the minutes that's required.
Okay. I do see one question here, just to clarify. Students who are going to be virtual students but come on campus for 1 or more classes can pick up their lanyard in the counselor's office anytime this week, before Monday, or even Monday during the day next week.
They need to do it next week. They're not printed yet.
Oh, I'm sorry. Mr. Simmons just corrected me. They aren't printed yet. We're printing those now. So just come by next week to get your lanyard.
Can you review again about the band?
When they come for band? Okay, if a student is virtual, but they're coming in the afternoon for band, they would just need to come on campus and report to the band room, and Mr. Nichols will be checking them in, and then they will leave after band practice. So instead of having students come in to the office, our record of check-in will be with the teacher. So even if a student comes for 1 math class, they would come to school, go to the math class, the teacher knows they're coming, they'll do the check-in, and then they would need to check out with the teacher when they left.
Okay. Again, set hours for virtual.
Okay, the set hours, the virtual learning will be very flexible. So it depends on your family's schedule. It depends on, but the teachers will be available during the regular school day. And then if you have a question after hours, of course you email them and they'll get back with you. So there will be some times during the regular day, But there will also be families that the virtual option allows them some flex time. Dad may be working at a certain time and they want to, or mom may be working and they need to do some of their schoolwork at night. That's fine. There will be some flex in the time of the day that you work through your virtual lessons. But there will be support during the day if you need assistance.
Okay, a couple of questions regarding band. One question is, do virtual students have to come on campus for band? And the other question is, if they want to get their child signed up to band, do they need, how do they go about getting their child signed up to come and do band in person?
Okay, they would need to contact the counselor, and when the teachers contact them this week for the schedule checks, then they could express then that they wanted to change that schedule, and then we'll talk to the counselors. Also, if you are wanting to do band virtually and you want to learn about an instrument, or of course you wouldn't be in the marching band, it would look differently, but we are willing to work with you on that. We have some programs online. Mr. Nichols has a program that would help students learn instruments that's online, and so we're willing to help you with that as well. We just need to know that's your choice.
Okay. Can you talk a little bit about how we will be doing concurrent classes?
Well, concurrent classes are going to be online, just like our other online classes. So there's really not going to be any difference. They're still going to get the credit that they would have received if they were on site.
And those will be taught by our teachers.
Okay. And Dr. Riggins, would you repeat the email address? Some folks are saying it's hard to see on the screen.
Yes, it is Vilonia Virtual Academy at viloniaschools.org. Vilonia Virtual Academy at viloniaschools.org.
Okay. Will there be collaboration between virtual students assigned to the same teacher so they can have some semblance of a normal class?
We are working to do that. Dr. Nose, do you want to talk about the breakout sessions?
Our teachers are going to be able to use Zoom quite often, and when you get in Zoom, you can create breakout sessions in small groups for students to collaborate in. So yes, we are already thinking about that this week or next week during orientation. We hope to get students together and have them to start develop relationships among themselves and with the teacher. So that is definitely something that we're going to be focusing on through the virtual school.
Okay. Is there any specific information related to the lower grades? One of our viewers thought this sounded very specific to high school, but the things we're talking about also apply to the lower grades as well?
Yes, and in the lower grades, the curriculum will be supplemented with our science of reading. It will be supplemented with our word study. So that's where we were talking about the flexibility, and the self-pace will vary. It will be more structured at the lower grades. So there will be specific times that a student would need to log on for word study each day for phonological awareness. Dr. Nose, you want to expand on that?
In the early grades, our teachers, we have one teacher per grade. So we have one teacher for kindergarten, one teacher for first grade, one for second grade, one for third grade. They're going to be working very closely with your students, and they're going to be supplementing Lincoln Learning with some of our curriculum here at school. So we're very confident that your students are going to get what they would get, the same high quality education they would get on site in the virtual program.
One of the things in the K-3 program we are committed to is to make sure that students learn to read. And so the K-3 curriculum will be very focused around teaching students to read so that they will be proficient as they are reading to learn later. They know how to read and they're confident that they can learn the content.
I do want to point out that I see that Evan Beavers, our Director of Technology for the district, has commented that Chromebooks will have Wi-Fi, but just not cellular data on them. Okay. So the Wi-Fi access points, but not cellular data. Will the virtual teacher be contacting the parents? And when will the students know who their teacher is?
Okay, on Friday, they will be able to get on the website and see. Is that right, Dr.
Yes,
Nose?
they'll be able to get on the website, the Vilonia Virtual Academy. There will be a link from the Vilonia District website, They will be able to see who their teacher is. There will be a short introductory video by each teacher. So that's what they'll be able to access. Also, these teachers are ready to contact their students. They're ready to get to know them. So that's going to happen in the next few days as well.
Okay. And as far as, I have a couple folks that are asking about contact with the parents. Will a student have a specific teacher or multiple teachers, and who will be contacting parents?
They will have a specific teacher in the lower grades. It's just like if they were at school. So K-3 students, they will have one teacher. And then for 6 students, we'll have 2 teachers mainly on 2 main teams. And then there will be some teachers that are specialty teachers that will be working. We'll have art teachers and music teachers. So those teachers will support the core teachers. And then at the high school level, it will be just like they were in high school course, content teachers.
Okay. And we do want to mention that someone commented that they're having a hard time accessing the email. It will be going live probably tomorrow, so it's not currently live.
Okay, we'll check with Mr. Beavers on that.
Yeah. How will PE, art, music, specials such as that work, and how will they be assessed?
We have, those classes are built into Lincoln Learning, so they'll be assessing that, but it's going to be the same thing as if they were on site. So those curriculums are fully developed.
And this next question I'll respond to is asking, is there going to be a marching band, and will there be sports games with crowds? Regarding marching band and concert choir, we are still looking at the state standards that were updated and sent out as late as 4 o'clock last Friday afternoon. At this time, our intent is to have a marching band. I know the students are already working on that and drilling using social distancing throughout the summer. Second question, will there be sports games with crowds? Yes, there will, but we are limited by the state to 66% capacity of the stadium. In addition to that, we also have to leave every other bleacher row empty, and so that would actually cut probably the capacity down a little bit more. So yes, there will be, but it'll be a limited capacity.
And we'll have
but
Eagle
you will
Vision.
be able to watch all the games on Eagle Vision as always. That will still be going strong. So if you're not able to get into the stadium because of limited capacity, you will be able to watch it on Eagle Vision. Who do we contact to go on site for GT at FMIS? The building principal.
Well, if you would contact if you'll email this Vilonia Virtual Academy and give your grade level and the name and what services you're wanting, then we'll get you in touch with that person. It will be Miss Heidi Eubanks will be the GT teacher, and she has already talked to me about her willingness and hoping that some of you will be able to do that. So we'll set you up and get that started.
Okay. Another question regarding Chromebooks. The question was they didn't request one, but they need one now. And again, if they will just put that request on our email to Vilonia Virtual Academy at viloniaschools.org. If you would email that, I think it's going to be live tomorrow to let us know that you need a Chromebook.
Yes, and if you will just, we need to kind of express to you, in our nation, there's a problem all across the nation with school districts receiving the technology that they've ordered. We have ordered enough technology for each student to have a device, but we're waiting on that to be delivered. And we have received some recent news that there may be a delay. So we're asking you as a family, if you have a device in your family that a student can use, we're asking for you to wait until the new devices come, and in order to allow us to make sure that if there is no device in a family, that all kids can have some access. So we're sorry about that, but that is just something that we cannot control in this time, and other districts are experiencing the same issues, and so we're going to do the very best we can to make sure that all students have access.
Okay. Couple of questions regarding supply lists for virtual students. Grades K through 3 can pay the $30 fee just like on-site students, and then we will provide those
Yes.
supplies for K through 3 students. They
Yes.
just have to get to the primary or elementary school, pay their $30 fee, and we will get those supplies. As far as supply lists for students in grade 4 and above,
They will just use the supply list that the teachers give them.
Okay, so
Yes.
the teachers will let them know what
The
supplies
teachers will
they
let
would
them
need.
know if it is adjusted any from the original supply list.
Yes, and those teachers are going to be contacting them very, very soon, in the next couple of days.
Okay, and again, would you go over again who they need to contact if they want to pick up lunches?
Okay, if you want to pick up lunches, again, if you'll just use this email address and list that you want, what service you need, the student's name, their grade level, and the parent's name, and it would be great even for you to leave a phone number there so that we could even talk to you by phone as well as email, and then we will contact the food service department and make those arrangements. We're really trying to streamline everything so that it's not confusing for parents. If you have a concern, then we want you to be able to go to one email address, and someone will be monitoring that daily so that we can give you feedback and help take care of your needs.
Okay, another question, if they are unable to get their band student to band every day, could this be a blended type class?
That's something that we're going to have to discuss. I'm not sure. That's a question that hasn't come up. So in this time of uncertainty and new things arise, we will look at that and see what we can do. But I don't have an answer for that. So if I don't have an answer, I'm going to tell you we haven't thought of that. So we'll try to get an answer and talk to Mr. Nichols about it. And if the person that asked this question will send an email to this address, we'll try to get back with you.
Okay, another question was, if the devices aren't there, then how are we picking them up Monday? Well, we're going to be using the devices we currently have, which is what you were just referring to.
Yes.
If you have a device in your home that you could use, we're asking you to wait till the new ones come in. And in the meantime, we have devices to provide for those that don't have them.
We do not have one-to-one devices in our district, but we have some devices on campus, and we'll be using those first. But we're just trying to make sure that we're only issuing devices to students that absolutely do not have one at this point, because we need devices on campus and we need devices virtually.
One question, how does it work if they choose virtual for this first 9 weeks, but then decide to go on site the second quarter?
What we've done is our virtual teachers are really partnering and collaborating with our on-site teachers. We're making sure that we are covering the same essential standards in the virtual school that we're covering on site. So at the end of the 9 weeks, if your student chooses to go to on site, then they're going to be ready to go. They're going to have the skills they need to get started that next semester, or that next 9 weeks.
A question, what's the $30 for? The $30 is what we use to pay for the school supplies. At those levels, rather than have parents go out and have to go shopping and find everything, we do the shopping for them. I think we wrapped up.
Okay, all the questions. If you think of additional questions, we will check the email address, make sure that it's up and live in the morning so that you can, and we'll even try to work on that this evening if we can, but we just want to make sure that you have an opportunity to communicate with us. We are committed to very fluid, two-way communication. We want to make sure that we are communicating our view, and we want to do that. So we welcome your comments. We ask for your grace. We want you to understand that we don't have all the answers. And as you watch the news daily, no one really does, but we're trying to work through this together. But we are committed to serving your children. We love our children in Vilonia School District, and so we are looking forward to the year. Does anyone else have anything to say?
Just looking forward to the year. It's going to be a great one.
Okay. Have a good evening.